Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET Englishtown.
Hello everyone, this is Madeline, teacher again, and today we are going to be doing 1C writing. I will write 1C writing, and we are going to be doing April 3rd's class. Okay, so take out your Grammar Zone books and let's get started. Okay, so what we are going to do today is lesson 21. So open your book to page 62, 62, and let's do lesson 21. Yes, 21. Okay, so today, we are going to be talking about there was and there were. So there were and there was. Okay, so there were and there were. You can think. I'm going to erase this because I think you can't see very clearly on the video. Okay. So there was and there were. We will talk about. We use this expression to talk about things that existed in the past. That existed, things that existed in the past. So, this is a sentence. It does not tell me anything except for things that, if there was something or there wasn't something. So, it doesn't tell me what kind of thing it is. It just tells me it existed. Yes, there is one. Or yes, there was one. So, we learned before that was and were are the past tense forms of am, is, and are. So you might know already this thing, there is or there aren't, or there are. And this means yes, right now there is and there are. So right now there is a teacher in this room. I am here. In the past, there was a different teacher. So in the past, we just say there is and there are, which talk about what is here now. And there was and there were talks about in the past what was there, what was here. Okay? If that makes sense. So we can make sentences pretty easily. For one thing, we can say there was. So one thing, it existed. One thing, there was a teacher. Or there was a student. And then if it is not true, yes, it is true. If it is not true, we say there wasn't. There wasn't a dragon. There wasn't a dragon. Never was there a dragon in SSET. It did not happen. If we have many things, we say there were. were classes yesterday. Yesterday is past. So instead of there are classes today, but there were classes yesterday. Because yesterday is past. The other thing we can say is there weren't. So if it's not true, we say there weren't witches. There weren't witches in class. So there were classes yesterday. Yes, it happened. It is true. There weren't witches yesterday. There was class. There were classes. Yes, there weren't witches. Not true. And this is yesterday, past, before today, and so we use was and were and not, is, or are, okay? So these are what we do for yes and sentences and no sentences, affirmative and negative. The other thing we want to talk about today too is questions. So I'll come over here. Can you still see? Okay. So questions. For one thing, we can ask the question, were. Again, when we start questions, when we have questions in English, we want to take the verb and move it first. So the verb comes first. So we can say, was there? Was there a ghost? Was there a ghost in SSAT? And the answer can be yes, there was a ghost, or no, there wasn't. So here, for one thing, one ghost, we say was there. For many things, we say were. Were there students, were there students in class? Yesterday, there were classes and there weren't witches in class, but were there students in class? And we can answer two things. Yes, there were, or no, there weren't. Okay. So, again, one more time, we use there was and there were to talk about things that existed in the past. Past is like yesterday, last week, last year, etc. So we can say there was for sentences. Yes, sentences, we say there was or there were. One thing, there was. Many things, there were. For no sentences, we say there wasn't for one thing or there weren't for many things. And then questions, we put verb first. So was there for one and were there for many. And again, we use this only for things to talk about what was in a place, in the past. So we can say existed, was in a place in the past. We use to talk about things that were or was in a place in the past. Okay. So write these notes down if you want to write the notes down, and pause the video, stop the video to write the notes down, and then we will start again, okay? And I will erase. Okay, so now in the book we are going to be doing page 62 together. And then I will let you do next page 63 by yourselves. So the first one, we have there lakes. So we can say two things. There was lakes or there were lakes. So lakes is many, so we can say there were lakes. Number two, we have a forest. A forest is one, so we say there was a forest. Okay, next one, number three, we can say there a tree. Tree is one, so we say there was a tree. Number four, there a volcano. We can say volcano is one, so we can say there was a volcano. Number five, there mountains. So mountains is many, so we can say there were mountains. Number six, there rivers. Rivers, also many, so we can say there were rivers. Now seven, there dinosaurs. Here, dinosaurs is many, so we can say there were dinosaurs. And last one, there big tigers. Tigers is also many, so we want to say there were big tigers. So next part, I want you to finish the page, do this part by yourself. So stop the video, check your answers if you need to check your answers, write your answers down in the book, and then do this page by yourself. So stop the video, please. Okay, so now that you finished page 62, let's check together. So I will read. Tina, wow, this is a great time machine. Andy, where were you, Tina? I was here, but it was 100 million years ago. Andy, tell me about it. There was a big lake and there were volcanoes and there were dinosaurs. Was there a river? Yes, there was. There were mountains and forests with big trees. Was it good? No, not really. It was cloudy and rainy. There wasn't any TV and there weren't any video games. I wasn't happy. Okay, so finish checking your answers and write these down, and then we will go to the next page. Okay, so on the next page, we are going to write sentences about the pictures. So the first one we see is done for us. We see a picture of trees, and it says there were trees. Yes, we see the check. Yes, there were trees. So we can write there were trees. Number two, we look at the picture, we see cars, and we see an X. So we can say what? We can say there weren't cars. there weren't cars, we can know X, no cars. And we see the picture, so there weren't cars. Then number 3, we see a river, and we see a truck. So what do we write? We can say, yes, there was a river. Okay, so number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Please do by yourself. Stop the video. And when you finish answering the questions in your book, come back and we will finish, check your answers together. Okay, so now that you finished page 63, that's part 3, let's answer the question. So number 4, there we have a picture of a volcano and a check, so we can say there was a volcano. Number 5, we see houses and we see an X, so we can say there weren't houses, or there weren't any houses is even better. Next picture, we see this, and there's an X, so we say there weren't, or there wasn't. There wasn't because only one. You can say a lake, you can say a pond. Either one is okay, okay? And number 7, we see dinosaurs and we see a chuck, so we can say there were okay. So number 8, we see TV. Yes, TV and an X, so we can say there. You have 2 choices. You can say there wasn't any TV, like Tina says on this page, or we can say there weren't any TVs. This means TV, the machine, the thing. TV you can touch. This means TV like TV shows. TV shows was not an idea, not a real idea, okay? Now, let's do part 4 together. So finish writing these answers. Stop the video if you need to. So we can say some sentences about what there was or there weren't in your town in the past. So here we're all in Seoul. So think about Seoul. 1,000 years ago. This many is 1,000. 1,000 years in the past. 1,000 years in the past. What was in Seoul? So I can write 1,000 years ago, there wasn't, or there weren't. So 1,000 years ago, there weren't apartments. Probably 1,000 years ago, there weren't apartments. So think again. I want you to think of another thing. That there wasn't 1,000 years ago. You can write your own sentence. There weren't Write one more sentence by yourself. You can write many things. And then also answer question number 2. Write 2 sentences. With 100 years ago, what was there? And what wasn't? What was there? Yes, it did exist 100 years ago. So other things you can write for this, there weren't cars 1,000 years ago, or there weren't phones. Or there weren't, we already talked about TVs. 100 years ago, we can say, yes, there were houses. Or there were people. Okay, so finish writing your answers, and then we will go to the next page, page 22. Okay, so on this page, we have questions and answers. So I'm going to let you finish these questions and answers by yourself. Just part 1 do by yourself, okay? And then when you finish, we will check your answers together. So stop the video, and when you finish, come back, start the video, and we will check. Okay, so now that you finished, let's check your answers. So number 1, was there email 50 years ago? No, there wasn't. Number 2, were there any DVDs 20 years ago? So DVDs is many, so we can say were with big W, sorry. Were there any DVDs 20 years ago? No, there weren't. Now the answer is changed. Yes, there were. Because now the book is older than the time. Okay, number 3. There's TV 50 years ago. Was. TV is 1. There. TV 50 years ago. Yes, there was. CDs. There any CDs? CDs is many. So we can say, were there any CDs 50 years ago? No, there weren't. Next part. Their electric light 100 years ago. We can say was. Their light. Electric light is like this light, not light like the sun, light like lamps in your houses, okay? Was there any light 100 years ago? Yes, there was. There any videos 20 years ago? Were there any videos 20 years ago? Yes, there were. And last question, there any dinosaurs 1,000 years ago? Were dinosaurs is many, so we say were, and no, there weren't. Okay. So for the next part, finish checking your answers. I will erase these. For the next part, we need to change the sentence from the past, or from yes sentence to no sentence, or from no sentence to yes sentence. For the example, there weren't horses, change to yes sentence. Yes, there were horses. Number 2, yes, there was TV, so we want to write no, there wasn't TV. Okay, number 3, there wasn't a river, so you can write yes, there was a river. Number 4, there were dinosaurs. Yes, there were dinosaurs. So you can say no. Think to yourself. No, we say. No, there weren't dinosaurs. Okay. So now that we finished this, write these answers down, and then let's talk about the next page. So, we have one more similar thing to talk about today. It is some and any. So, some and any. So, okay. So, some versus any. We use some versus any to talk about plurals, which are many, or non-count. If you remember non-count, then you will know we use this to talk about non-count nouns. But if you don't remember non-count, that's okay. We don't need to know non-count today. It is just good to know. We use some and any for non-count and plural only. If we have one, we don't use. If we have many, we use. If we have one, never use. Okay? So non-count. Okay. So for one, we never use. Okay. So we only use with there were, or there weren't, or were there, okay? So when we say were there were. A yes sentence, we use some. And then we say now. So it's okay to say there were dinosaurs, but better is to say there were some dinosaurs. For a no sentence, there weren't. We say there weren't any dinosaurs. And for a question, we say were there. We can say were there, again, any dinosaurs. So we use some only for yes sentences. For no sentences and questions, we use any. But for yes sentences, we use some, okay? So yes sentences, there were some. Were there dinosaurs? Yes, there were some. Or no, there weren't any. Were there any? Because question, we use any. In no sentence, we use any. But yes sentence, we use some. Okay? So that's how it goes. Stop the video if you need to stop it to write these notes down. Okay? And then I'm going to erase this. Ready? Okay. So now let's look at part 3 by ourselves together, or no, by together. So number 1, there were some, because yes, there were. crocodiles, but there weren't any people. Again, yes, some, no, any. Number 2, there weren't trucks. So because we say weren't, we do any. No, there weren't. So there weren't any. And there weren't, again, any. Number 3, there were, yes, roads, and there were houses. So when yes, there were, we say some. And some, there were, yes, roads, and there were, yes, houses. So some and some. Number 4, there were mammoths, but there weren't lions. What do you think? So there were, yes, mammoths, so we can say some. There were some mammoths, but there weren't any lions, because no, there weren't. And number 5, there weren't any people, but there were, yes, some dinosaurs. And number 6, there were some, yes, some caves, but there weren't any houses. And there weren't any DVDs, but there were some videos. Okay, so try to do this last part, part 4, by yourself. Stop the video, write the answers, and then we will check your answers to part 4. Okay? So stop the video now. Okay, now I will erase this. Okay, so now if you are finished, let's check your answers. So we have to make the sentences long sentences with and or but. So the first one, there weren't any elephants, but there were mammoths. Because weren't and were are different, we say but. If weren't and weren't same, we say and. Were and were same, we say and. Weren't and were different, we say but. So number 2, we have there were lakes, there were rivers. So we can say there were lakes and there were rivers. So because were and were is the same, we can say and. Number 3, there were some saber-toothed tigers, there weren't any lions. So here, there were some saber-toothed tigers, but because were in the next word, there weren't is different. So different, we say but. There weren't any lions. In the last one, there weren't any cars, there weren't any buses. So here, we say there weren't any cars, and because we have weren't and weren't, same. So there weren't any cars and there weren't any buses. Okay, so that is all. That is finished. So that is the entire lesson today. I hope you learned something, and I will see you soon. Okay. Yes. So goodbye.
Today a reader, tomorrow a leader. SSET English Town.